Dude, my first car was a fucking Chevy Blazer, and we would set up in the Pizza Hut. There was a Pizza Hut connected to like a fucking Giant and a fucking just a shitty strip mall in Dundalk actually, and we would just set up like shopping cart obstacle courses, and I would just smash through shopping carts in the fucking. And
How fun is it?
Yeah. It's the most fun.
Once you get through the actual thing of like, oh no, I shouldn't be doing this. Once you've committed to smashing shit with a car.
Yeah.
So we had my mom's 4Runner. I didn't have a car. I think my car died or something. So we're driving around, and I was like, hey, we should take out. I thought it was funny. I was like, let's take out these trash cans. So it was like, boom. And then it just became the whole night's activity.
Of course.
We were just like running shit over. But we were trying to push a porta potty over. We were trying to push it over, and then we drove by it, and I like tried to push it with my hand, but it fucking didn't. It just jammed my hand. And I go, oh, I broke my arm. I broke my arm. And my friend Joel was recording me on his camcorder. It was back in the day of camcorders. He goes, I don't think you broke your arm. And then like 5 minutes later, he lost the videotape, but we watched it as adults. 5 minutes later, he's sitting there and goes, hey, Soder, has your broken arm? And I go, shut up. I didn't break my arm. It was one of those lies. I was like, no, guys, I really did. I broke my arm.
Yeah, I'm not fucking around, guys.
I definitely didn't. Dude, yeah, fucking middle school kids' lies.
Yeah.
The bet.
That
actually,
the car thing, I kept doing that into my 20s.
Really?
Yeah, me and Jake Flores. Jake used to have this piece of shit Ford Focus, and I had like a shitty '96 Explorer, and we would one time Chris Cubis, another comic, he had to like move.
Yeah.
And so he was like asked me and Jake to help him move, and within 30 minutes of helping him move his stuff, like one of us just dropped something and it broke.
Yeah.
And then we were like, ha 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 ha. And then we just started trashing all of his stuff in his like former apartment. We like took his bed frame and threw it through the wall. And like Chris didn't give it. We were just drunk. You know, it was like noon. We were trashed. It was Wednesday, and we were doing like a bit. We were like this would be a funny sketch. It's called like Quality Movers. And they just destroy everything. But there's no camera, so it's not a sketch. We're just trashing.
Destroying shit.
And so he had this old computer monitor, and we're like, I'm taking the thing over my head and throwing it at the wall and shit, and smashing holes in the wall, and we're throwing it all over the parking lot, trying to smash this computer monitor. But so CRTs, those like cathode ray tubes.
Yeah.
The screen is like 1.5 inches of glass.
Yeah, those old computer monitors are thick as fuck.
They're hard as shit to break, but inside, because the way those things work is it's this like gun that shoots electrons at the screen real fast, and that's what makes it light up, and it's like precise. But so it's got to be a vacuum on the inside. So when you finally break that screen, it fucking implodes, and it's like a really cool thing to see. So and I know that, so I was like, we gotta.
I had been in that previous situation.
Yeah. So I'm like, guys, we gotta destroy this thing, and we're trying all these ways to get it to smash, and we can't do it. So eventually, we took like just the cord to it and tied it to the back of Jake's car. And then I was like riding it, and he was just driving it through the fucking parking lot, and I fell off, and he's like going around corners and smashing it into like fire hydrants and shit. But we were like,
what finally did it?
I think that did it. It like hit a curb and it popped and shit, and it was kind of underwhelming. Chris had another TV. Chris had like a 36-inch CRT.
Yeah.
That we moved into the apartment me and Chris moved into.
Yeah.
With the intention of we're gonna fucking destroy this thing at some point.
Right.
And there was one night I was drunk and I was like, either I'm buying PS4 or a shotgun from Cabela's so I can shoot this fucking TV. And I ended up buying the PlayStation, which is still a waste of money, but
I don't know. I think the shotgun, you would have done that.
I would have killed myself.
Yeah.
I would have done the TV, and then the next thing would have been
or you would have hit someone with a buckshot.
Yeah.
And been like, I don't know. Now you have to do a comedy benefit once a year for your friend that's in a wheelchair. Because you decided to play fucking Sarah Connor and try to do a one-arm cock of a shotgun.
Which is the one that you spin?
Oh, no way, man. That's a repeater.
Yeah, a repeater.
You don't want a repeater.
Yeah. Do the
You'll
spin
fucking
thing.
blow your goddamn foot off. Best case scenario.
Yeah. We had fun.
That was those stories of the fucking the alcoholism days are pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Austin.
No, I want to start drinking again just so I can make those kind of decisions. Man, I got pulled over one time. I had to like fly back to see my family for Christmas. It was the day before Christmas Eve. and I went out to a bar with like Joe Stats, and I had like 9 beers. And me and Jake had fought the night prior to that, so I had like a giant black eye. And I had 9 beers, and then I took a beer. Somehow they just let me take a beer with me from the bar, which is not, I don't know. So I'm driving, and Joe's trashed too, and I'm like, I have like a tall boy on my lap. And then I pass by this cop, and I'm like, immediately I'm like, fuck, shit, fuck, you're a cop, fuck. And then the cop's following me. I'm like, shit. And then I like, there's a red light, and I like pull halfway into it, like while the light's still red. And I'm just like fucking up. I'm like, God damn it. And then Joe's like, just take a left here, take a left here. And he's like, you know, in my ear, and light turns green. I turn left. I've turned left onto like a divided highway. So I'm like going the wrong way down the divided highway. And Joe's like, just jump the curb, just jump the curb. And I'm like, no, man. I'm like, I'm fucked, you know. So I'm like, I'm going to jail, and I fucking just pull off in the first side street. I put my hazards on, and I'm like, I can't believe this, dude. I'm fucking.
Wait, the cop lit you?
I pulled over first before he could light me because I had fucked up. So I put my emergencies on. I just pulled over, and I was waiting for him. And then, I threw the hazards on. I'm like, I'm going to jail. I'm fucking going to jail. But then the cop pulled up behind me and threw the hazards on. And then, like, somehow he comes to the window. I'm like, I can't believe this shit. And I roll down the window, and the cop's like, hey, how you doing tonight? I'm like, yeah, I'm real sorry about that. And then, like, me and Joe were just, first of all, a lot of it is just white privilege. But, like, immediately I was like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm driving him home. He's giving me directions, and he's fucking trashed, or whatever. Yeah. And Joe's like screaming already, He's like just hamming up how drunk he is or whatever. Cool. And I had given the beer in my lap to Joe beforehand. He just poured it on himself and crammed it under the seat. So the cop's like, okay, so you know why you're pulled out? I'm like, yeah, obviously. He's driving the wrong way down the thing. He's like, okay. He's like, have you been drinking tonight? And I was like, I had like 2 beers, I was like, I had one with like dinner and then another one, just right before we left the bar. But I'm not like drunk or anything. He's like, okay, well, can you get out of the car just so I can make sure all that smell is coming from him? I was like, yeah, sure. And then still in my head, I'm like, I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
And so the cop brings me around behind the car, and he's like, just hang tight for a second. And then he like talks.
Just goes and just beats the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I'm going to whoop your drunkard friend.
So they talk to Joe, and they come back over to me, and the cop looked just like David Bowie.
Oh, weird.
He looked like a butt, like a Jack David Bowie. Like a cop David
He's
Bowie.
Like Major Tom the ground control.
Yeah. We've got a couple of black guys wandering around the back of the bank.
Young Americans, they were black and they were driving.
And they deserved it. So this cop looked just like David Bowie, and like drunk part of my mind is like, tell him he looks like David Bowie. He'll think that's like cool. You'll ingratiate yourself to the cop. He's gonna be like, oh, for real, man?
I love the Star Child.
Yeah. Luckily I didn't. He was like, okay, like I do smell alcohol. He's like, you only had 2 drinks, and he's like, are you telling the truth? And I was like, yeah, it was 2. It was like 1 with dinner and then 1 just now. He's like, okay. He's like, I do smell a little alcohol in your breath. I don't think you're lying to me. If you'd said you hadn't been drinking, then we'd have a fucking issue. But, he's like, I'm going to let it slide. So he's like, what you want to do? And he like brings me back to my car, and he's like, you just go around here, take a right, and then, make sure you get on the right side of the road, coming around. I'm like, all right, thanks, and then I'm like just sitting there with Joe. I'm like, holy fucking shit, I can't believe that worked. And as I was saying that, the cop was like, he was back at the window. He's like, yeah, you forgot your ID. And I was like, thanks, man. Yeah. And I really have no idea how I got out of that one.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I was, when I was 17, we did mushrooms.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy did mushrooms, and we ran out of cigarettes. We just ate the mushrooms. We were like, we're going to need cigarettes. Because when I used to trip in high school, I used to love to smoke. Like 2 packs.
You must have been cool as hell with that.
Oh, dude, I was so much pussy. Actually, I wasn't. I had sex once in high school, and that was it. But
nice, dude.
Dry fucked a lot. So
yeah, I came in my pants a lot. We figured out that's what first base is. That's a walk if you come in your pants.
Oh yeah, I walked.
It's a walk. Yeah.
I walked a lot.
I didn't fuck at all.
But we ate. We both ate an eighth of mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
But I ate mine first, like probably 30 minutes before he did. And I ate it, and then he came over and ate his. And I was like, yo, we gotta go get cigarettes. And he's like, all right. But his mom dropped him off. He's like, I don't have a car. I was like, drive my car. Drive my car. And we'll go get cigarettes. He's like, all right. So we're taking like this back way.
Yeah.
Something. And I'm like, oh, I'll take it right here. And he runs a red light, like barely runs a red light. Fucking cop right behind us. We're like, fuck. Pull us over. That's how I knew the mushrooms started working, because the red and blue lights on the inside of my car, and this is like dusk, so it's just starting to get dark, and it's like they were like hitting each other, and I was like, oh man, oh man, and he's like freaking out. My buddy Mike's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Right.
I'm like, just wait. So it's a lady police officer comes to the door. I'm like, Miss Officer, I'm so sorry. This is my car. I'm planning on drinking tonight, and so I wanted my friend to drive it just so I could make sure when I was sober that he could. And I was just like mushroom talking.
Yeah.
Just like, and she's like, okay. Can I see both of your licenses? And I was like, yeah. We both give her our license, and she's like, okay. And then goes back, and we're melting down. Mike and I are melting down. I'm like, dude, I can't go to jail on fucking mushrooms. I'm gonna fucking die in there. I can't do it. And he's like, dude, it'll be all right, man. I don't know. Like, they're gonna take my license. Like, she better not look at my pupils. We're waiting for like 5 minutes. It's starting to get fucking pretty. Like, what are they doing? Are they calling for backup?
Right. Yeah.
You just don't know. 'Cause you're just on mushrooms. And she comes back and she just hands us both of our licenses, and she goes, "You boys are having the luckiest day of your life. There was a shooting that we need to report to, so you guys are good to go."
Get out of here!
Like, he drove away, and I was like, "Oh, fuck!"
I'm so glad that 4-year-old got shot today.
Yeah.